so excited because I am obsessed with your message. This was the biggest thing for me that I really couldn't get past when I was in my mommy slump. I could not figure out how I was going to do both, how I was going to inject my vision and my joie de vivre, or my zest for life, into this new full-time gig of full-time mommy. So I've picked up quite a while ago on your Instagram feed, your and life. And I really would love for you to tell our viewers about that.
Absolutely. Well, Tara, I'm excited to be here and share, what I've learned and how I can help your listeners, your followers. But yeah, I coined the phrase living the and life because of my personal story. So going into 2013, I had received another promotion at the corporate job that I had been at for several years. And I really didn't listen to all the requirements of this job. It was just like promotion and into the position I wanted. And I just said yes right away. And
You're a yes person.
I am a yes person. And unfortunately, because I did that, I spent the next 12 months, so all of 2013, really just completely focused on work. And while it was my most successful year ever in terms of compensation and career achievements, it was my absolute worst year in my personal life. So I'm talking everything from my own health, my own well-being, my husband, my kids. I mean, just everything. And I still tell my husband to this day that I was such an awful human being to everyone outside of my job that I don't know how he didn't pack up our kids and just leave me. Like it was that bad. And I'm so grateful that he has stuck by my side.
Wow.
But yeah, so I got to the breaking point 12 months later, and I thought my only way that I would end up finding happiness was to quit my corporate job. Like I literally just couldn't see how in the world you could work and be a wife and a mom and, a friend and a daughter and be happy and healthy.
Right.
So that was I thought I'd have to choose one or the other. And fortunately, I didn't quit my job. I ended up hiring a coach and started working with her right at the beginning of 2014. And that's through all of the work that I did with her and did on my own, and the research and the strategies to really learn how to live what I now call the and life, where you can still have that successful career and a fulfilling personal life.
Yeah. Like plus, plus, plus. Life is, we can truly have it all. And I just love that you're a testament to that. And thank you for being, so honest, because I don't know that very many people recognize that they're being crappy moms, crappy wives, crappy people.
Yeah.
If they do, they certainly don't come on an interview and say, you wouldn't believe what a crap bag I was. So that's pretty cool of you, Colleen.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I was just thinking about that this morning. I didn't share with anyone at work how completely stressed out and overwhelmed I was and how awful I was being at home. Like, because I saw all of these other women that I worked with who were rock stars. Like, they just seemed to have it all together. And I didn't want to sound like an idiot by sharing how hard it was for me. And finally, when I started working with my coach, so even after I got beyond my breaking point, one day I finally decided to open up to a coworker of mine and share with her the challenges I was having. And I'll never forget, and this story isn't in a book that I co-authored, but I'll never forget, I'm in her doorway of her office sharing this story, and she's not saying a word.
Yeah.
Finally, I stopped talking because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she thinks I'm crazy. Like, she's going to run out and tell everyone that I've lost my mind. And when I finally stopped talking, she says, oh my gosh, it's like I'm looking in a mirror. I feel the exact same way. And it really opened my eyes of I'm not alone. And we don't talk about it as women oftentimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we don't. And what drives me flipping crazy is Instagram and all of these perfect moms. It's
Yeah.
not real. Like, it's just not real. And it shouldn't, I don't even know why we want it to be real. But anyway, that's another topic.
Yeah.
Because that Instagram thing is just nuts to me.
Yeah.
So designing a life, I feel, is so unrealistic of a, kind of thing to say to a mom who just can't, who just feels totally bombarded. She's bombarded with the mommy stuff. She's stuck in the mud. She can't move her feet. And you walk up to her and say, let's design your life. She's like, haha, you're funny. But seriously, you have to start with the design of your life. So what I would look, because I know you work with a lot of people, in the fitness journey that you're on, and it's not just women, but when you encounter moms and you tell them, let's design your life, what's their reaction to that? And how do you get them out of that?
Yeah. So if you think about motherhood, it has different phases, and it goes along with the different phases of your children's age. So certainly a mom with a brand new baby, look, let's be real, they are in survival mode. Like, I am not going to come up to a woman who has a 6-week-old and say, let's do the work to design, right? Like, all I care about at that point is that mom is sleeping. Sleep and just kind of take care of yourself to the basic fundamentals. It's kind of once you get past that newborn stage where, you're starting to get a little bit of a grasp, your sanity's come back just a little bit. Then we can start working on that. And that's where I get challenged. I actually have more women ask me, Colleen, you make it look like you can have it all. Like, is it true? Can you really have it all? And I kind of smirk and say, well, you're asking the wrong question, and you're asking it of the wrong person. The question you really need to ask is, what does having it all mean to you? And you need to ask
that.
and
I
you
love that.
Yeah, you have to ask yourself that question, because Tara, even you and me, who are both, business owners and we're parents, your definition of what having it all looks like to you is going to be completely different than me.
Different.
Absolutely. So the only person who can answer that is you yourself. But then you have to, as you said, design what that looks like. What does that mean for you? And so that's really the first piece, or the first step that I coach on, is to decide what having it all means to you.
Yeah. And then, because I remember making a vision board. That's how I started to get out of my funk. First, I decided, okay, I'm going to serve other people. But again, that's another topic. And then in and amongst that kind of time period of my life came my vision board.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a tiny bit overwhelmed after I made my vision board, because I was like, okay, this is really great, but I don't have time for this. Yeah. I can't build this. But the reality is that everybody has time, and that we're stuck in a world of creating busy. We're so busy being busy. So what I would love for you to share is how you found the time to slip into into mommy land, mm-hmm. that enabled you to design this life.
Yeah. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to also offer that, when you create a vision board, or you put, because those are kind of like big dreams, right? Those are big things, and absolutely have those. Everyone in my family has a vision board. Yeah. But it can be overwhelming, because it kind of feels like this big, far out thing. And oftentimes what I find, especially with moms and working moms, is they say, well, I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't have the time. And they feel like it has to be this ginormous leap from where they are to that big vision, that big dream. And because that feels almost impossible, they get stuck. Uh-huh. They completely stay stuck in the moment, and they don't do anything. So the first thing that I would offer is it needs to be thought of in small increments. Like, you're not going to go achieve this, maybe brand new business overnight, but what are the small steps to getting there? And then as you asked her, then, okay, that sounds more achievable, more doable. But, again, I hear, Colleen, but I don't even have time to brush my teeth in the morning. How am I going to do that? So I use the acronym SPEED. So I tell people to run their life with,
What is it? Speed.
oh, what's that?
Speed.
SPEED.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just capital S, capital P, capital D, SPEED.
Okay.
And so the first thing that you would do is sit down and write out a master list of everything you need to do. So that's typically like looking ahead at maybe the week or the next couple of weeks, or maybe the next 30 days, however far out you want to look. And it's looking at everything. So okay, we have a kid's birthday party this weekend, so I need to buy a gift, right? And then it's, my kid's birthday coming up, and I've got to plan the party. I need to go to this PTA meeting. I need to do this thing for work, right? So it's like master list of everything you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have that master list, then you start with the S, which is stop. You're going to go through that list and start looking at things that you completely need to stop doing.
Cool.
These are things that are either, they don't align with what your vision is. So an example I like to give is when I was in my previous corporate job, I belonged to a network of executive women. And I had served on their committee for a few years. And it was a really good committee. It gave me a lot of good return and I enjoyed my time. But as I shifted into understanding more about what having it all meant to me, I realized that committee didn't really serve a purpose for me anymore. And I had to stop. So stopping or saying no, like, no, I can't go to that event or I can't be at that meeting.
Which is hard for a yes person.
It is. It is. And especially for women, they feel like they have to say, no, I can't do that because.
Right?
And it's like, no, you don't need to give a reason. It's unless you want to say, I'm sorry, no, I'm not available, but you don't need to give the reason. And I'm going to tell you half the time you're lying about why you can't do it or why you can't go. You're making up some.
And everybody knows you're lying.
Right.
Like, let's be serious. Okay.
Yeah. So it's hard. It is hard. These are simple, but not easy things. So that's the first thing is kind of go through that master list and start figuring out the things you just need to stop. Say no to, get off your calendar. Okay, so now your list is whittled down a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're going to go to the P, which is for the word pass. And these are the things that you need to start delegating. And whether this is in your business by hiring a virtual assistant or by asking, another mom, can we carpool? Can we do things? My favorite example is laundry. So before I've had a couple of different situations. I remember my husband was trying to help out when it was really crazy and he was washing all the linens. And I remember I opened our linen closet and it's like towels are completely folded the wrong way, right? Like not the way I would do it. And I was kind of cringing at first, but I'm going, but like who goes in my linen closet? Nobody's opening my linen closet to see how my towels are folded. So other than me. So let go of that. I was fortunate enough to be able to hire a house cleaner at one point, and I asked if she would start washing our towels and our bedding. And so that was, again, just those things that you can pass along to other people.
Yeah.
So now your list should be whittled down even more. And so what's left really should be the things that align with how you've defined having it all, right? Like these are the things that are priority for me. And so now the D is to do. And I don't mean do like they sit on that to-do list. I mean, you start taking 3 items and plugging them into your calendar each day. Nothing gets done when it just sits over here on this to-do list. It literally needs to be plugged into time slots on your calendar. That is how you're going to do it. And it's crazy when you start stopping and you start passing and you've got a really clearly defined list that aligns with what having it all means to you and you schedule it amazing things will happen. And that busyness that you talked about starts to dwindle away.
Now, as you're saying this, I'm thinking for our viewers, it would probably be really advantageous for them to have a copy of this. Is this something that you offer on your website, the SPD?
Yeah, actually, if they go to my website, it's called a Me Time Starter Guide. And it actually has this whole entire process, because that's one of the things I hear a lot from my clients, and is how do I get more me time? Like I'm surviving taking care of my kids and doing my job. I want me time. So this whole system is packaged in there for them as a free.
ColleenHauk.com.
Yep.
HAUK.
HAUK. You got
Yeah.
it.
Okay, cool. And that's just, is it under a certain tab or?
Every page that you go on, it's right there in that main page.
Cool. That's what I love about these interviews is all my experts are giving away something so valuable. So make sure you go to ColleenHauk.com and download that. These tools are invaluable. And one thing that is so great, and I know this is a tiny bit off topic, but it's coming from my heart, is that when we're moms, we kind of feel alone. And the women that in my community that I have found just to put these interviews together are, number one, so on board with helping. And number two, when you get to talk to them about stuff like this, they're so inspiring. And if you don't align yourself with these types of women, you are wasting the biggest free resource that you have. Because women, as women, we are so willing to help and to share and to give. And so I just really wanted to thank you again for being here and just being so willing to share.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a really special time for me to even just hear you talk on this, because I need reminders.
Right. We all do.
Reminders.
Yes, yes. And one of the things I started doing this year, on that topic of free and women sharing is, even just through Facebook, there's working moms groups on Facebook, and the amount of tips and advice that come through those groups that, again, like you said, Tara, it's all free. I encourage, like, I don't want people to get sucked into spending too much time on social media, because that's a time stealer. But legitimately, if you have a question, or, you kind of just need like your tribe of working moms, that's available to you. But again, I caution, use it wisely.
Yeah, it's a bit of a danger zone. It really is.
Right.
Earlier you said, and I hired a coach, and I also have coaches. I've worked with a couple coaches now, and that's pretty invaluable to work with somebody who's solely on your team and helps you with that designing of your life and putting it into action. Did you find, obviously you did, but tell me about your coaching experience with your coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I still have a coach. So I'm a coach. I'm a certified success coach, but I still have a coach. And I found that depending on where you're at, different coaches serve different purposes. And so the coaching process, absolutely, it really served as that foundation for me, because even though early on when I was in college, I was a human services major. So I had already been studying a lot of these, like, self-esteem and self-help and how to be organized. Like that's what I was doing. But because I had been so far removed, because I got so focused on my career, and then nobody teaches you. I mean, seriously, when you go to college, nobody says, oh, by the way, women, once you've got your career, if you decide to get married and become a mom, there's all of these other things that are going to kind of be thrown in there. Like, nobody teaches you that.
No.
And so I just got so far removed from that foundation that my coach really, really reestablished that for me. And we had a call every week for the first few months, and then it was monthly call. And then I have switched to, a couple of different coaches now that I have different, missions or different projects that I'm working on. And I mean, athletes, professionals have coaches all the time. And I like how you said it. It's like they're focused on you. It's really to help you catapult to the next level.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I love my coaches. I love
Good.
them. Like
Good.
it was like an invaluable thing for me. Anything else you want to add before we go?
I I just offer, think about as a mom, the different stages that you're in, and you know, first of all, give yourself permission to recognize that you can't always do everything. There's going to be those phases, especially like I said, when it's newborn babies, it's like, oh, just survive.
Right.
Um, but the one thing that I haven't touched on is the fact that really you as an individual matter most. And I find so many working moms that carry that guilt. They want to put everyone else in front of themselves and they fail to take care of them.
So
And
I do feel that, and I'm sorry to interrupt you.
no, please.
I just feel like that is totally 100% right. But it's starting to get said more and more that it's almost starting to sound like a cliche, and it's going through one ear and out the other.
Mhm.
So yes, we matter most, but what does that mean? Okay, so I matter most. What do I do for myself?
Yeah. Oh, and I think you bring up such a great point. Here's the situation. It's if you continue every day, if your schedule is only about serving others, whether that's your family, your job, literally serving others, that will work for the short term. Look, I made it through an entire 12 months where I literally did not put me first on any level. It was all about everyone else. And I
Can you
made it.
believe we can do that for a
Yeah.
full year? It's crazy. Women are amazing. Anyway, carry on.
No, I survived. I'm not kidding you. I slept about 4 to 5 hours every single night. That's what I did. I sacrificed sleep in order to make all of that happen. And I made it. I made it for 12, almost 13 months. But look, the reality is that I couldn't make it beyond that. And so what would have happened if I had completely crashed and then I'm now in the hospital? How am I going to serve my family? How am I going to be there for my job if I have failed to put me first and crashed at some point? So I realize, like you said, Tara, it sounds cliche, but it's not, because that it is not a matter of if you will crash. It is literally a matter of when. And so,
100%.
until you start building in, I like to call them me moments, just me moments,
Mhm.
5, 10, 15 minutes. And this is in my free download as well. 5, 10, 15 minutes every day. I don't care if it means you're just sitting by yourself in the family room with a cup of coffee for 5 minutes. Like, you have to build in that time. It doesn't mean you need
How much time are we talking here? How much time?
if you could just find 5 to 15 minutes every day to do something that was just for you, that will make that much of a difference versus nothing. And again, it's this whole like when I was talking about the vision, people get stuck like, oh, I have to now make this drastic leap. Now I got to start spending 2 hours a day on myself. No,
No.
start with small increments
Mhm.
until you get, used to that. And then maybe a couple days a week, you can build in some more time until you start getting control of that. But it literally starts with define what having it all means to you,
Yep.
and then go through that list, run with speed, get those things taken care of, and then you can find those times for those me moments in there.
I heard one time somebody super cool say, um, our small goals in life, like finding 5 minutes for yourself every day, which is totally doable, totally doable. There's no excuse why you can't find that.
Yep.
But when you accomplish this 5, 10, 15 minutes every single day for a time, a length of time, um, we start to shift the reputation with ourselves because we're actually hitting small goals. And when we hit small goals, we now see our confidence start to rise because we are doing what we say we're doing. And
Hmm.
our brain goes, oh, you actually do follow through with what you say you're going to do. So love you for that. Thanks. Right. So I think
Yeah,
that's what you were saying.
absolutely. There's a book that I would recommend that ties in with that whole concept you were just talking about, like doing a little bit each day, staying consistent. And it's one of my favorite books because it's a very easy read. It's a quick read, but it's highly impactful. And it's called The Compound Effect. And it's by
Cool.
by Darren Hardy. And it is one of my favorite books to recommend and give away. So I recommend that as well.
Cool. Colleen, thank you so much. Thank you again. I don't want to take any more of your time, but have an awesome day. Thank you for being and sharing. It's just, you're the best.
Thank you, Tara, for having me.
Yeah. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.